Welcome to the Deep Dive, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at the work of David Icke,
Oh, wow.
specifically his book, The Trap.
Okay.
And, David Icke's an interesting figure, to say the least.
Definitely. Yeah. Former footballer, BBC presenter.
Yeah, and then he kind of went on this whole other path exploring conspiracy theories and alternative realities.
Yeah. He really challenges the mainstream narratives about, well, pretty much everything.
Yeah, and he doesn't just kind of theorize about these things. He really claims to have had these experiences that back up what he's talking about.
Exactly. And he's done a lot of research.
So we're going to kind of dive into some of the core concepts from this book, The Trap, and see, what evidence he presents.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So I guess one of the big ideas that he talks about is this idea of a global cult.
Right. Right.
And it's not just a throwaway term. He really lays out this argument that there's this network of people, organizations that are working to manipulate global events, control information, all that.
And he really emphasizes that this global cult, it's not something new.
Right.
He traces it back, like way back to ancient secret societies and bloodlines.
It's pretty wild. And he even goes so far as to name names.
He does, yeah.
He'll talk about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, linking them to this network. And he also connects modern institutions like the World Economic Forum to this agenda. He talks about Klaus Schwab and the whole Great Reset thing.
Yeah, he suggests that that's part of this larger plan to centralize power control.
And this is where things start to get even more interesting because he links this idea of the global cult to this belief that we're living in a simulated reality.
The trap, correct?
The trap, yeah. And this is like a central theme in his work, that we're kind of enslaved in this state of ignorance, fear, and that it's preventing us from realizing our true potential.
And he uses that matrix analogy, which a lot of people are familiar with,
right.
to explain this concept of the simulated reality.
So how does he explain this simulated reality concept? I mean, does he offer any evidence? Is it all based on personal experience?
Well, he draws on a lot of different sources, actually, like ancient wisdom traditions, esoteric knowledge, but then he also brings in modern scientific concepts.
Oh, wow.
For instance, he delves into quantum physics, the observer effect.
Oh, okay.
That suggests that just by observing something, you can actually influence the behavior of subatomic particles.
So he's saying consciousness plays a role.
Exactly. It's not just this objective reality out there. It's shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, perceptions.
And he also, uses the holographic principle.
Yeah.
That idea from physics that suggests that, our 3D reality is a projection of information encoded on a 2D surface.
It's mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah.
And he also connects this to his experiences with psychoactive plants like ayahuasca.
Oh, okay.
He's talked about having, profound visions, insights during these experiences. And that really solidified his belief in the illusory nature of reality.
That we can kind of glimpse beyond the veil.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if reality is the simulation, I mean, who created it?
Right.
What's the purpose?
That's where his concept of Wetiko comes in.
Okay, Wetiko. Now, that one always throws me for a loop a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a
tricky one.
I've heard the term before, but I don't know if I fully get it.
Yeah, it's complex. It's a term he borrows from Native American traditions.
Okay.
And he describes it as a kind of mind virus.
Okay.
That infects human consciousness.
Oh, so not a literal, virus.
No, more of a mental or spiritual affliction.
Gotcha, okay.
And he argues that Wetiko is actually the driving force behind the global cult. It's like the thing that's pushing this agenda of control and manipulation.
And he even makes this connection between Wetiko and Yaldabaoth, which is this Gnostic concept of a demiurge.
Demiurge who creates the flawed material world, right?
Right. So this is where things get really out there.
Yeah.
He claims that this global cult is serving the agenda of reptilian entities that are controlling humanity from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Where does he get this?
Well, he pulls from various sources like ancient texts, myths that describe these serpent gods, reptilian entities.
Okay.
And he also brings in accounts from people who claim to have witnessed shape-shifting.
Wow.
So he's kind of weaving together all these different threads to create this narrative.
Like a hidden reality controlled by these reptilian beings.
Yeah, he argues that they operate from a higher dimension.
Oh.
That they're manipulating our reality through technology, psychic influence.
Very wild stuff.
It is. It's one of his most controversial claims, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that he sees all of these concepts, the global cult, the simulated reality, Wetiko, the reptilian entities, as interconnected.
Yeah.
Like pieces of a puzzle that reveal the true nature of our reality.
So with all this talk of control, manipulation, does he offer any hope for breaking free from this trap?
He does.
Huh.
And that's what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, so we're back. And last time we kind of left off with this idea of the trap, this simulated reality.
Yeah.
Controlled by the global cult, maybe reptilian overlords.
Right. A lot to unpack there.
It is. It is. So before we jump into, like, Icke's solutions for, breaking free from this system, I kind of want to explore how he believes this control actually plays out.
Okay.
Like in our daily lives.
Right.
So how does this global cult with its, possible reptilian connections, how do they actually manipulate us?
Well, Icke argues that they use a combination of things.
Okay.
Psychological manipulation, social engineering,
right.
technological control.
Wow, okay.
Really trying to shape our perceptions and our behaviors.
And I think he talks a lot about them hijacking our natural instincts.
Exactly, especially our fear response.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Keeping us in this state of anxiety reactivity.
So it's about keeping us afraid.
Yeah, he believes that fear makes us more susceptible to control.
Oh, okay.
When we're afraid, we're less likely to think critically, question authority.
Right.
And we become more compliant, obedient, easier to manipulate.
And he gives some pretty compelling examples of that in the book.
He does, yeah.
Like, talking about how the media uses fear-based narratives.
Oh, absolutely.
To kind of control the public discourse.
Yeah, he argues that the mainstream media, which he believes is largely controlled by this global cult,
right,
they're constantly bombarding us with stories of danger and conflict and scarcity.
Right, yeah, it's like 24/7 news cycle.
Exactly, and that creates this climate of fear and anxiety.
Which makes us more dependent on those authority figures
for
guidance and protection.
Exactly.
And he doesn't just stop there.
No.
He also points to the education system as a tool of indoctrination.
Instead of fostering critical thinking and independent thought,
right,
he argues it's more about producing obedient workers.
Wow.
Who conform, who accept the status quo.
And I think he even goes so far as to say that certain subjects are, like, deliberately omitted.
Yeah, or distorted.
To keep us ignorant.
Keep us in the dark.
About our true history, our potential.
Exactly.
And then he ties this all into the financial system as well.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all connected.
Yeah. He believes that this modern banking system, with its emphasis on debt and interest, it's designed to keep people trapped.
Financially dependent.
Right. And he argues that this system is rigged to benefit the elite.
The ones at the top.
The very people who he believes are orchestrating this global cult agenda.
So we're talking about a system of control that spans, media, education, our financial lives.
All of it, yeah.
Okay, so this brings us back to, like, Icke's solution for breaking free from this trap. If the control is so pervasive, how do we escape it?
Well, Icke believes that the key is raising our consciousness.
Okay.
He argues that the global cult, their power, rests on our ignorance and our willingness to participate in the system.
So if we become aware of the manipulation, if we start to question the narratives, can we break free?
He believes so, yeah. He emphasizes the importance of critical thinking, questioning everything, not just blindly accepting what we're told.
So it's about becoming more discerning.
That's
about the information we consume.
Yeah. Seek out alternative sources. Do your own research.
Now, to your own conclusions.
Yeah.
Don't just take what's given to you.
Right.
Okay, but how do we do that? How do we practically, like, shift our consciousness in a way that allows us to break free?
Well, Icke suggests a number of practices that can help raise our consciousness, reconnect with our true power.
Like what?
Like meditation, mindfulness, connecting with nature.
So things that help us quiet the mind.
Yeah, and connect with something larger than ourselves. He also talks about shadow work.
Uh-oh, that sounds intense.
It can be, yeah.
What is that?
It's about facing our own inner demons.
Oh, wow.
Healing those wounds that keep us trapped in patterns of self-sabotage.
Yeah, okay.
He believes until we address our own inner darkness, we'll just keep projecting it outward.
Interesting.
And that just perpetuates the cycle.
Fear and control.
Exactly.
And he also talks a lot about the power of love.
Oh, yes. Love is huge for Icke.
Yeah.
He believes it's the ultimate antidote.
To fear and control.
Yeah, he argues that love is a frequency, a vibration that can dissolve the illusions, break the chains of the trap.
Powerful stuff.
It is. It is.
So he's encouraging us to cultivate love in our lives.
Yeah, radiate it outward.
Choose love over fear.
Every moment.
It's a hopeful message.
It is. It's empowering.
You know, we're not just powerless victims. We're co-creators of our reality.
And he even suggests that as more people awaken and choose love over fear, it creates this ripple effect, raising the vibration of the planet.
Wow. Okay.
And transforming reality itself.
That's a beautiful vision.
It is. But, you know, if we're all trapped in this simulation,
right,
how could we be sure any of this is real?
Yeah, like how do we know we're not just playing our assigned roles?
Right.
In this matrix?
That's a great question. And that's where Icke's exploration of consciousness gets even deeper.
Okay.
He suggests that this simulated reality, it's not as solid and fixed as we might think.
Okay.
There are cracks in the matrix.
Like what?
Glitches in the system that reveal the true nature of reality.
Like what kind of glitches?
Like, have you ever had those moments where things just don't add up? When you experience synchronicities?
Yeah.
Or have precognitive dreams?
Yeah.
Icke believes those are glimpses beyond the veil.
Okay.
Hints that there's more to reality than meets the eye.
So we're not just passive participants.
No. He argues that we can learn to manipulate the simulation.
Wow.
Bend the rules.
How do we do that?
By understanding the underlying code.
The code of reality.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think he even challenges the traditional view of reincarnation.
He does.
Suggesting that it's actually a mechanism of the simulation.
Right. A way to recycle our consciousness.
Oh, wow.
Keep us trapped in this cycle of repeated experiences.
And limited awareness.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from that cycle?
He suggests by remembering who we truly are. Infinite beings of consciousness.
Okay.
And by choosing love over fear, we can transcend the limitations.
Of the simulation.
Break free from this cycle of reincarnation.
So it's not all doom and gloom with Icke.
No, not at all.
I mean, we've been focusing on the global cult, the reptilians.
Yeah, the manipulation.
But he does offer this really optimistic message as well.
He absolutely does. He emphasizes the inherent power and potential of humanity.
Okay.
He believes we have the capacity to overcome any obstacle.
Yeah.
To break free from any limitation and to create a world of love, harmony, abundance.
It's a message of empowerment.
Yeah, reminding us that we are not powerless victims, but co-creators of our reality.
That we have a choice.
We do. He encourages us to question everything, to trust our intuition, to connect with the power within.
It's a call to action.
It is.
To become conscious creators.
Rather than passive participants.
And there's so much more to uncover as we continue our David Icke deep dive.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into David Icke's The Trap.
Yeah, it's
And we've talked about a lot of stuff.
We have.
The simulated reality, the global cult.
Icke, the mind virus.
That feeds on fear.
And of course, the reptilian entities.
Always got to bring up the reptilians.
They're always there, lurking.
So, I mean, it's been a wild ride through Icke's worldview.
Definitely a journey.
And I think even if you don't buy into everything he says, it's hard not to be, like, intrigued.
Oh, yeah. He's a compelling figure.
And there's definitely value in thinking about these ideas.
And asking ourselves, like, the tough questions about reality.
And the forces that shape our world.
You know, where do we fit in?
Right.
And I think one of the most intriguing things, at least for me, is how he kind of pulls all these different threads together.
Yeah, like he brings in ancient wisdom.
Right.
Esoteric knowledge, modern science, current events.
It's like a giant tapestry.
Yeah, he's trying to make sense of it all.
This chaotic world.
The big puzzle.
And at the core of it all is this message that we're not just watching.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just passive observers.
No, we're active participants.
We're in it.
Co-creating our own experience.
And he talks a lot about the power of consciousness.
Yeah, our thoughts, beliefs, intentions having a direct impact on the world around us.
And he even says, you know, we can learn to manipulate the simulation.
Right, to bend the rules.
By understanding the code.
The underlying code of reality.
Right. And he offers all these tools and techniques.
Meditation, mindfulness, energy work. visualization.
And it's not just about us, though, right?
No, it's not just personal transformation.
He sees it as something much bigger.
Yeah, a collective shift.
This idea of a critical mass
of consciousness
that can actually change everything.
When enough people awaken and raise their vibration,
right,
it creates a tipping point.
I can break the trap.
Ushering in a new era
of peace, harmony, abundance.
It's a beautiful vision.
It is. But, I gotta ask. I mean, he gets labeled a conspiracy theorist a lot.
He does, yeah.
And some of this stuff, can seem pretty out there.
It can be challenging.
But he's not asking us to just blindly believe him, right?
No, quite the opposite.
He wants us to think critically.
Exactly.
To question, to explore these ideas for ourselves. Like, don't just take his word for it.
Right.
Go out there and see what resonates.
Do your own research.
Question everything.
That's the key.
And that's what I find so compelling about his work. It's not like, here's the truth, believe it or else.
It's more of an invitation.
An invitation to explore.
To discover your own truth.
And I think that's a reminder that reality isn't fixed.
Right.
It's not this static thing.
It's fluid.
It's always evolving.
Dynamic.
And our choices, our consciousness, they play a role.
They shape it.
So, I mean, what do we take away from all of this, from our David Icke deep dive?
Well, I think the most important thing is remembering that we're not powerless.
Okay.
We're not just victims of circumstance.
We have a choice.
We have a choice.
In how we perceive the world.
How we respond to challenges.
And what kind of reality
we want to create.
Icke's message is about awakening to our true potential.
Connecting with our inner power.
Becoming conscious creators.
Of more loving, harmonious, and enlightened world.
So it's a call to action.
It is.
To break free from fear.
Embrace our inherent divinity.
To step into our power.
Yeah.
As agents of change.
That's it.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of David Icke.
Yeah.
I hope you found it thought-provoking, maybe a little bit mind-bending.
At least.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
I'm diving deep.
We'll see you next time.